Hello my little flowers. Today we're going on an adventure to the Bayou because Tiana's Bayou Adventure opens to the public on June 28th and we got a preview. So with all that being said, let's go. Mike the Bee, the music. So like I said, this attraction is opening on June 28th. It was shut down when it was Splash Mountain for a complete and total re-theme. And so we are finally at the point. Previews are being held right now. The last of the cast member previews are happening. They're probably going to do, I don't know if they're going to do any more media previews or whatnot, but it is opening to the public on June 28th. So if you are heading to the park on or after June 28th, you have park admission and you have a reservation, just know this will be utilizing the virtual queue while it's first open. So if you haven't used the virtual queue before, is going to be one offered at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. So you either have to get up and be on your phone ready to go at 7 o'clock, I would say before 7 o'clock, in order to snag one of those virtual queues. Otherwise, you have to be in the park itself to get one of the ones offered at 1 o'clock. They also are going to have a lightning lane available, so if you just want to purchase a separate lightning lane, that will be available as well. Of course, all this is limited, so if you want to get it, you probably need to get up early. You probably need to be one of the first ones in line to snag any of these options. Otherwise, you probably won't get a chance to ride the attraction on your next visit to the Magic Kingdom Park. So we made our way to the Transportation and Ticket Center because we had to sign in and get special wristbands so we could enjoy this attraction during our preview. So we did that, we hopped on the monorail, the express monorail, and we got our way over to the Magic Kingdom Park, which we were let in, made our way back to Frontierland because I wanted to check out the shooting arcade one last time. The last day of play was June 23rd of 2024. It was open to free play for a while. This was an opening day attraction here at Magic Kingdom Park. So many people have made all kinds of memories shooting the fun little targets and watching them do some crazy things over the years. This will close and make room for a DVC lounge. So if you're a DVC member, you will have a lounge to enjoy in the near future at Magic Kingdom Park. So we made our way over to Tiana's Bayou Adventure for our preview ride on the new attraction. So coming up to the attraction, of course, it looks great. It looks wonderful. They did a really good job kind of re-theming this attraction with the new kind of Bayou look to it. They have the trees and they have, you know, different plants and of course the new sign. We walked up and immediately I'm like, okay, it's already, you know, has this really great setup and great picturesque. Of course, there's the viewing areas where you can see the logs making their way through the bayou as the riders pass by. Of course, there's that huge 50-foot plunge that you get like a really good shot at, especially from the lower level. You can see it come all the way down the mountain to the very bottom where the riders all get absolutely soaked. So a lot of the same things if you've ever ridden this ride as Splash Mountain. So all that kind of the pathway, all that stuff is still pretty much the same. But the theming, it's just the theming that has been changed. So you may get some like, you know, still some nostalgia and flashbacks to what the ride used to be, but of course you get the freshness of what it has become. Really quick, I just want to say Splash Mountain was my favorite attraction at the Magic Kingdom Park, and I kind of want to say was my favorite attraction of all of Walt Disney World. So when they announced that the attraction was closing down, it was a bittersweet moment for me because I was like, oh my god, I really love this attraction. What's gonna happen? Like what's going on? And when they said that they were just re-theming it to, you know, Princess and the Frog, Tiana, and her story, I was like, okay, I'm interested. I'm listening. I'm interested. Well, because from the first time I ever rode Splash Mountain, it just really intrigued me on how they took a standard kind of log flume type attraction and made it into this like really amazing, like, you know, you get a story. Like you're not just in a log going down the flume and oh, I got wet. Like there's an actual story happening as you're traveling down the Flume, the river. And that just like blew my mind that they were able to do this, where it was timed well enough, not always, but well enough, that you got this really cute, good story of Brer Bear, Brer Fox, Brer Rabbit, and their little adventure. So it just, I don't know, it just became my favorite attraction. And yeah, so I was just very interested though to see what was gonna happen when it turned into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So the base storyline for Tiana's Bayou Adventure has changed, as many things do at Walt Disney World or Disney in general. When they're coming up with any attraction, any show, whatever, it doesn't always end the way it started. And so that's definitely the case with this attraction. The basic storyline is that this happens after the events of the Princess and the Frog movie. Tiana has her restaurant, Tiana's Palace. It's very successful. So she has now created this co-op of a company, Tiana's Foods. The kind of premise of this company is to grow their own kind of food, vegetables mainly, and to create culinary creations, out of it, but everybody has their hand in it. Everybody has a part to play. The original story of the ride, like original story of the ride, was supposed to be that we were supposed to go through the salt mine that Tiana purchased to kind of be her base for Tiana's Foods. And she was basically gonna like bring us along on her adventure with this company. So you would see like the gardens, and she would talk to you about growing your own garden and giving you some ideas of how to do so and maybe what to plant. And then once you plant your garden and you grow your own food, you could take that and then go into the kitchen, where you would end up in the kitchen, and she would show you like you can just experiment and come up with all kinds of fun and exciting things with food, and hopefully to kind of like inspire people to get back into the kitchen and to cook something and make something amazing. So that was like the very, very first kind of basic kind of like story they were throwing out there at us. Now all that has changed. So we're still at Tiana's Foods. We're still there. So you enter the queue, it's Tiana's Foods. You have this wonderful, wonderful mural on the outside of the wall now. It's very colorful. It brings a lot of like energy and character to the area. There's a delivery truck, taking some of their product, and looks like they're going to take it somewhere, or maybe they're bringing it there. I don't know, but that's there. So it's setting you up for this wonderful new company that Tiana has created. You enter into the building, you get, the kind of workspace, so you get like a little office. Of course, there's a newspaper letting you know the other part of this story, which Tiana is throwing a big Mardi Gras party, basically to say thank you to the people that have, helped her business grow, both her restaurant and her co-op. You kind of see that's where like the employees clock in, they kind of hang their aprons and that sort of thing. So I would say this is like the office, kind of locker room, kind of check in, check out, business end of the business. So in this kind of office area, if you get a chance, look on the shelf that's kind of behind where like the newspaper and thing is. You will see there is a nod to Splash Mountain, because there's a little figurines up on the shelves. I know there's the bear, there's the rabbit, and there's a fox. And then on the other side, there was like a steamboat. If you remember the very end, there was like the big steamboat scene. And then there was like a frog too. The frog could be because of Princess of the Frog. It could be the frogs from Splash Mountain. I don't know. But all that is on this shelf. So that's one of the many nods to Splash Mountain within this queue and attraction. So yeah, keep your eye out for that. So we keep making our way through the line. We make our way up some stairs to the second floor, and this is where the show kitchen is. So of course you see a lovely plate of beignets. Beignets play a big part, not just in this story, but New Orleans you can't say New Orleans without thinking beignets. So they definitely have those out. I was hoping for a sample, but we didn't get one. Maybe next time. But this is of course where, Tiana and her co-workers work together together to create all these wonderful culinary creations from the things that they have been growing, and to help grow this kind of second leg of her business. I did want to point out that this is also where, so Lightning Lane and the regular queue kind of like come together in these areas. So, but there is a separate line. There are two separate lines during this time. So after you pass the show kitchen, there is kind of like some walls up, and there's a bunch of pictures and awards and stuff. There's some pictures about her father. So we know her father was not present in the first movie. And so this kind of gives a little bit more backstory on her father. He was in the military, and like there's some stuff from that. So if you get a chance, look at that stuff, read anything. It'll help expand on the story of Tiana and her family. Also, there's awards that they've won, and then different things that have brought them to where they are now. After this portion, this is where the Lightning Lane and the regular queue merge together. So this is where they're going to let people who have Lightning Lane kind of go, and then they're also going to let people from the standard queue go, not at the same time, obviously. It will be like one side will go, then the other side will go. But this is where the lines come together. Well, after this point is, if you remember in the Splash Mountain line, this is where it was kind of like you're now inside the mountain. So it was like the rocky look and that sort of thing. So what they've done is you're in a salt mine. So if you look at the walls, you can see like little sparklies on the walls. So that's supposed to be like the salt. There are some little signs, and they had puns and stuff on them, and I really didn't get a whole lot of that on film, because when we got there and we were walking down this part of the kind of queue, there was nobody in front of us, and I don't know when we'll get that chance ever again. So I just wanted to take in the moment and just kind of like film, like walking down this like kind of hallway carved out in the salt mine, nobody there, and just kind of get this, hopefully this amazing shot going down the hallway leading to getting on the logs. All right, so we have made it through the salt mine. We've made it to the heart of the salt mine, and this is where they load the logs. They have like these big cranes kind of over the logs to kind of load some of the different like products and stuff to get them down, the river, to wherever they need to go, of course, quicker, more efficiently, that whole thing. This is also where it's your last chance to exit. So you can enjoy the queue with your friends and family while you're there. If you choose that you do not want to ride this attraction, or you have somebody at the last minute is just like, what, I changed my mind, I don't want to do that. This is your last chance. This is where you have to leave your party while they go enjoy the attraction. There's a sign, and of course the cast members will help you out as well. Now we are loading into the logs, and the process is the same as it was before. How many is in your party? Go to this row. You're going to get into the log. There's still the lap bars to pull down. Put your stuff usually at your feet. I would suggest, if you have any like bags or anything that you don't want to get super wet, if you can't leave it with somebody who's not riding, put it down at your feet, but don't put it on the floor. Because if you put it on the floor, the water has to go somewhere. So if you don't want it super wet, like I just usually set things on the top of my feet, so at least I know it gets some elevation, and then it won't get totally soaked, when we take that 50-foot plunge. Okay, so now I have to kind of like continue with what the new storyline is. So you load the log, you kind of start off on the journey of the actual attraction. And so you do go through like the Tiana, kind of like the farm part, the little gardens and everything. You see Louis kind of messing around in one of the gardens. There's this really cute kind of like statue of Louis, Louis, made out of some of the gourds and whatnot. What's happened is, like I said, Tiana is planning this huge party for Mardi Gras, but she's kind of realized that she doesn't have a band. She has nobody to play at this party. And if you've ever been to a New Orleans or Mardi Gras party, you have a live band. So she has decided to go into the bayou to look for some musically inclined critters to get them to come and play at her party. And guess what? We're going along with her. Now, as we actually entered into the bayou, this part is a part that I watched some other kind of vlogs and videos about this, and people have talked about how dark it is. So we had our preview kind of in the middle of the day at 1 o'clock, and it was very, very bright and sunny outside. And we went into the mountain, and yeah, it takes a minute for, at least for me, for my eyes to adjust going from that bright to that dark. So at first, yes, it was a little dark, but again, you're going into the bayou. You're going into the bayou. It's supposed to be like kind of nighttime, and I don't know if you've ever been in the bayou at nighttime. It is dark. So it's not pitch black, you can see, but it's not gonna be, you know, super, super lit. I did use my kind of like night sight, night vision on the camera. So I'm hoping that it kind of lightened it up a little bit more. So we got some really good kind of footage for you guys. But yeah, we entered into the bayou. The first character we come upon is Lewis. And I just was like, that was it for me. I was sold. He looks amazing. It was just great. I was just like, yes, this is the update I was hoping for, I was waiting for. So immediately I was in the story. I was so happy. They wanted music to be a big part of this attraction from the very beginning. So of course, making this the actual part of the story line that we are traveling through while we're in the bayou just kind of made sense. Disney has put out things that kind of leading up to this point, trying to kind of like educate people on these new characters and like the new things they may encounter during their adventure into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And I don't think has been explained that well is that each of these kind of critters are in their own kind of like bands. And it kind of represents the different music stylings that you can find in New Orleans. The first band that you come across is the Zydeco Band. They're adorable musicians who create Zydeco musical recipe using makeshift instruments. So to me, this was a slight bow to the Country Bears in a way, just because they are like a critter band and they kind of have musical instruments out of like things that they've made. So it's not like an actual musical instrument that you would buy at the store. Like they had to be creative and make something to make the music. So that to me is like, I mean, I guess kind of like a grassroots type band in a way. So that's like the first kind of band that you come across. All right, so the second band that you come across is known as the Rara Band. It's Bobcat Bears and a friendly gray fox bring a Haitian musical tradition to the bayou. So I thought this was very interesting because I know here in Central Florida, the Haitian community is very big and strong. But I never really thought about that, like, you know, the Haitian culture and its influence in New Orleans, you know, in the bayou, that sort of thing. So I just thought, when I was reading this, I was like, oh wow, I guess that does make sense. So that's the second band that you come across while you are searching for a band for Tiana's big celebration. So we continue our journey into the bayou looking for more critters that can play musical instruments. And so there's another kind of like nod. So before you get to this next part, you do come across Tiana, and she's talking about how we're going to continue looking for, you know, other critters. And then you come across a big Lewis's butt stuck in a tree trunk. Tree stump. And so this is also, I believe, is also another nod to Splash Mountain, because Brer Bear, you know, you got a lot of bear butt in Splash Mountain. The next section, which is where we find our final band, is confusing to some people, but I understand why. But this is where Mama Odie uses her magic and she shrinks you down to the size of a frog. So there is a scene and it is above before you go and you get shrunk down. Unfortunately, I don't know if the timing is off or if there's a sensor or how it works. But if you're listening, you can hear her say that, you know, she's gonna shrink you down. The next thing you see is like this giant kind of like lily pad plant thing, and then of course a big frog. And so yeah, so people have gone through this and they're confused because they're like, what happened? Like, what happened? So anyway, the band that you come across during this part is the Afro-Cuban Jazz Band. It's a quartet of musical frogs who drum up lively rhythms and bright melodies. So they're cute. It's really cute. Of course, there's a part where like Tiana and Louis are looking in, and they're huge, and they kind of make a comment about how we got so small. All right, well now we have to get to, you know, becoming back to human size. So again, there's Mama Odie, and she tells you that she's gonna get you back to your human size because we gotta get to this party. So we did catch that part, or at least I did. Again, if you don't see it, if you're listening, you can hear her say it. If you don't catch any of that, again, that whole little section is not gonna make any sense to you at all, and you're gonna be a little lost. So we are put back into human size. That's of course when you're going up that big giant final lift hill to the 50-foot plunge. Of course, before you get to the actual, you know, plunge itself, you get Mama Odie, and she's, you know, telling you that, you know, basically she knows the shortcut to the party. And then that's when you take that wonderful drop, the one everybody's been waiting for the entire ride. Of course, this is also where you get your on-ride photo. So for those of you who are like, you know, ready for your little poses or whatever, you know, this is where it happens. So just kind of keep an eye out for all that before you take the 50-foot plunge. So after the plunge, of course, now you're on your way to the party. You are freshly spritzed. I don't know if they've changed the designs of the boats at all, but we got drenched. We got so wet on this attraction. Of course, we were in the front seat, but we really got wet. Like, I have never gotten so wet before on this attraction, and we got soaked. So just keep that in mind. It is a water ride. It's a log flume ride. You will get wet. We got soaked. So just be prepared. So it was time to make our way to the party. Like we have found the bands. We have, you know, taken the shortcut. It was time to get to that final scene. Of course, this used to be the big kind of riverboat scene with a lot of the old animatronics from chickens. I remember the chickens more than anything else. It has been completely redone, completely refreshed. You have all the bands together playing in, you know, perfect harmony and melodies and everything. You have Tiana, you have her friend, her mother, you have Naveen's brother, you have all the party guests. Like, it's a big scene. There's a lot going on. There's so much going on, and you go by at a pretty good pace. Of course, after that, you kind of like pass by two frogs sitting to the side, looking over kind of the cityscape of New Orleans. Of course, you see Tiana's palace in the distance. Of course, you get one final, like, you know, goodbye from Miss Mama Odie, and she's got her beignets. She's enjoying the party. There are posters there on the walls, the different critters now. You come back to the beginning to unload, and you know, you hopefully get to go and see your pictures. So after you complete the attraction, the picture process is the same. Now, if you have a new Magic Band Plus, your pictures should load to your Magic Band automatically. If you don't have the Magic Band Plus, or if your battery is not charged on your Magic Band Plus, they do still have the station where they have the different pictures from the different logs. You find your log, you tap the thing, it should load to your account. So the general store is still there. It's going to be the new kind of like gift shop at the end of this attraction, where you can pick up, you're supposed to be able to pick up the hot sauces, like I said, are supposed to be a big thing for this attraction. Probably some other Tiana's merchandise as well, hopefully themed to this ride. Two last Easter eggs that I did catch. So there's like a fireplace before you get to where you get your pictures, and there was like a bear and a fox that was like carved out on top of the mantle. So that to me is a nod to Splash Mountain with bear, 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 fox. As we were exiting, there are some bathrooms, and they still have the King Carrot sign that was there, has been there for Splash Mountain. Alright guys, again, that's it for me and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It is opening to the public on June 28th. Get up early, get you that virtual queue. You are going to love this attraction. If you love Splash Mountain, if you love the flume ride, you need to get wet, you're going to love this attraction. You're going to love the new story, the animatronics. It's just going to become another big favorite at Magic Kingdom Park. As always, thank you for following along on my little adventures. And as always, I am Mike the Bee. You never know where I'm going to be. I'm just going to be. You be too. I'll see you guys later. Bye.